January 10th, 2022. Could we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The listing of matters on the agenda are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items listed, in fact, may be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. This meeting will be live streamed for cable. Recording this meeting will also be posted on the West Bridgewater Community Access Media website, wb-cam.org. We'd like to introduce our student representative tonight, Hallie Hackinson. Welcome, Hallie. Could we get a motion to approve our meeting minutes from December 6, 2021?
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Bodwell, Superintendent's update.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Flynn. I'd like to invite up Mrs. Page. She's going to introduce a student speaker for us this evening.
Hello, good evening. Thank you. So I know I don't know if it was the last school committee meeting or the one prior to that, that the school committee awarded one of our fine West Bridgewater students an early graduation in 3 years, Ava Sabati. So Ava was really excited that you approved that for her, and she wanted to come and personally thank you and discuss what her goal is for wanting to graduate in 3 years. So I will introduce Ava Sabati to you. And she's very nervous, so be nice to her.
Hi everyone, I'm Ava Sabati, and I first want to start off by thanking you all for your approval, allowing me to start on this next chapter of my life. I feel extremely lucky to be given this opportunity to challenge myself and grow during these next few years. For as long as I can remember, my goal has been to study political science and criminal justice at Harvard Law. That being said, the plan for my gap year is to gain some experience and knowledge through an internship. The program I'm planning to intern with is called Intern HQ, and I'll be studying human rights and international law in Rome, Italy. All interns in Rome are placed in homestay accommodations as a way to fully immerse themselves in the Italian language and culture. I'll be presented with professional development opportunities while learning from qualified and experienced supervisors. This includes contributing to human rights awareness campaigns, researching international law and human rights issues, advocating for communities and individuals facing human rights and international law issues, raising funds for human rights organizations, as well as digital marketing, graphic design, and development of website content. Along the way, I'll pick up advocacy skills, apply the Italian language in a professional environment, and understand proper research and reporting processes. The weekends will be mine to explore. Being placed at the heart of Rome is convenient for expanding my horizons and being able to visit other Italian cities like Florence, Venice, Milan, Sicily, and Tuscany, as well as other destinations within Europe. Transportation systems are fast, economical, connecting Rome to both regional and international destinations. You know, I came here figuring you'd all like to hear about my academic and professional goals. However, there's a lot of personal motivation for me behind the decision to travel abroad. I lost my mom to cancer at the ripe age of 12, and growing up, it was our plan to someday travel the world together. Since then, it's always been a priority of mine to live that out for her. I jumped all over the opportunity to build my career skill set abroad. I couldn't be more excited to take advantage of the time I have before I head off to college and begin my career, and spend it learning not only about my field, but about myself along the way. My goal is to boost my confidence and independence while gaining knowledge and perspective of the world outside of my everyday bubble. I find that there is great value in the things you learn from the people around you. 7 billion people in the world with so much to offer. Why be limited when I can experience limitless? Again, I wanted to thank you all for taking the time to listen to my goals and for granting me the opportunity to reach them.
Thank you very much. Your goals are well stated. I mean, your priorities are out there, very, very good. I'd like to ask you one favor, though, maybe. As you graduate, and then maybe next year, around Christmas, when you get back home, if you could come and update us on your progress and everything.
Absolutely.
speak to Mr. Bodwell, Ms. Page. We'd love to hear from you around Christmas time or even next spring sometime. It would be fantastic. I think the town would love to hear your experiences.
And Ava, I'd like to commend you on your motivation, your dedication. It's not often that we see someone your age as dedicated and motivated as you are. You should be proud of yourself. West Bridgewater is proud of you, and most importantly, your mom would be proud of you too.
Thank you so much.
Eva, I just want to say too, it's thank you for coming forward to Mrs. Page to request this, and I think you set something up for future students that may have similar goals as you. I think the only downside is not having you in West Bridgewater for 4 years. So, but we wish you the best, and thank you again.
And Ava, sounds like you have a dream, and I just commend you for following that, and good luck with all future endeavors.
Mr. Bodwell.
All right. We've got to set up some budget meetings. I do have some suggestions. We do have a regularly scheduled meeting. Our next meeting will be February 7th. Following a similar schedule to last year, if we had our budget meeting on February 28th, last year was March 2nd, and then we have another regularly scheduled school committee meeting on March 7th. The last year we did it on the 9th, and we're still waiting for the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee to come forward with their dates for us to go to them. Last year was the week of the 14th, so it falls right in line. If we needed to have a second meeting after March 7th, we could meet on the 14th, but this seems to set us up in similar fashion to last year, and I believe the year before as well.
Okay. I think it'd be kind of hard with just 3 of us here tonight to make that definite, but we could probably work with that schedule, and then if we need to adjust it, we can adjust it as we move forward.
Perfect. Okay. All right, thank you. Just want to provide some more updates, COVID-19 updates, and before I go through the updates again, just a huge thank you to our nurses, our administration, our staff. Everyone continues to work together, collaborate. Some trying times coming back. We knew coming back from the vacation it would be difficult with a lot of people out. Everyone's really picked up the slack, and we continue to do what's best for our kids in the school and the families. So in terms of masking, over the vacation, we picked up 6,000 masks, 6 boxes of 1,000 each. Barely fit in the car, but that was good. We got them back here. We've distributed them to the schools. They are KN95 masks. It's optional for teachers and any staff to use them. They come in packs of 5, and we have enough for 6 weeks if everyone's using them. So that's the masking. The test kits, we did pick those up on New Year's Day, which worked out perfectly. Thank you to Mrs. Marble and Mrs. Hume for helping to break them up, because we were initially told we're getting 2 tests per person, which come in a box, but they did not get the order they anticipated, so we had to break down the boxes and separate them. So we have enough for every staff member in the district. A lot of them have picked them up. We still have some that have not picked them up, and we want to make them available for our staff for their testing to make sure they feel at ease and make sure if they're showing symptoms they can test with these rapid tests. Our attendance, both staff and students, we've had a high number of people out due to illness and also to COVID. There's a lot of people picking up slack, helping out, working together. We anticipated this, like I said, but it's kind of a work in progress, but we continue to do our best educating the students. Today, the commissioner came out with an update on the mask requirement. January 15th was the day it was meant to expire. It's now been pushed through February 28th. So that information was shared with families today. And just a reminder, we do not have a remote learning option at this time. If districts are closing schools or district-wide, those are considered basically snow days where they have to be made up. Working with union leadership to come up with a proposed schedule if it is approved by DESE and the commissioner and we need to go remote. But there are no plans for that, but we want to be as prepared as possible, so we're working with the union to have that ready to go if we need to. So there's a lot of things going on, but again, huge credit to our nurses, our administration, and all of our staff and our families. I know it's a lot on our families and our kids going through this. How you're living it. It's not easy wearing the mask and going through this, but we're here, we're open, we're running activities, doing everything we can for our kids to give them the best experience possible.
Thank you.
You're welcome. In your packet, you should have the North River Collaborative Annual Report that just provides information about the collaborative, so that is for you to look at as you need. Any questions, you can certainly reach out. And then Mrs. Yanis is going to talk about our professional development, what we've been doing in the schools. I felt it was important to update the committee on what's going on in the buildings during these half-day professional development times.
Good evening. So, staff at the middle senior high school had a dynamic presentation by Elise Wolf on 2 of our professional development days so far. Middle senior high school teachers will continue with their diversity, equity, and inclusion training during the rest of the school year. They have a presentation by Sherry Wynn coming up this week, and then they're going to culminate the last 3 PD workshops with presentations from Equity EDU. Standards-based learning at the Howard School. We're going to transition the teachers to standards-based learning and standards-based report cards. We've mapped out the year for PD, and we'll start with, we've already had 1 day. This week we're going to talk about the shift, then go to knowing priority standards and creating rubrics. Destination and communication, how will we tell parents what we're doing, and then norming and grading. We're going to also talk about how learning's structured and how it's experienced, and then teachers will work on unpacking the frameworks to develop a deeper understanding of what the student should be able to do by the end of the school year. The K-5 teachers have been working hard with the science of reading and letters training. They're deepening their understanding of the science of reading, which methods work best to help students learn to read, teaching phonics systematically and explicitly. And they've immersed themselves into their professional development based on letters training. The teachers are going to gain a deep understanding of the process and the science of teaching reading, the 5 components: phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. And so far, the results we've seen are impressive. The pre-K teachers are working with their new curriculum called High Scopes. It provides a rich academic foundation and promotes independence, decision-making, cooperation, creativity, and problem-solving. The teachers and instructional assistants are busy learning the routines and procedures that go along with the program and making them their own. We've also had quite a few after-school programs. We've done Stop the Bleed at Howard and Roselle. We're also going to do Alice training. On Thursday, December 9th, the social and emotional task force members from each school attended a workshop on mental health in the classroom presented by Denny Howley. Nurses have been extremely busy developing COVID strategies and just keeping up with the day-to-day. The elementary RBTs and one-to-one IAs are working with our consulting BCBA on procedures that they are using. And the RLM and kindergarten instructional assistants are having PD through PD Monster, and there's 8 modules that they're working through. We've also had safety care training for the new staff and for recertification for the staff that was already trained. And we also have an elementary PLC in reading instruction development with letters. So quite a bit going on. We've changed the way we deliver professional development this year. No more, it's more focused building-wide, and we're going to create a committee and work on creating next year's professional development, which we've already started working on.
We're excited. We have a couple of grants. One we know we have. We've just
Yes.
applied for that are very exciting, I think, for our staff. And then we'll be able to fill in some of those gaps on the other days with a building-based PD that's going to be helpful for our staff. Excellent.
Thank you.
Might as well just
You can
stay
stay
here.
right there.
So every year we look at our MCAS data and we create action plans. based on our results. This year, we're lucky enough to have STAR, Renaissance STAR assessment. So we also used that and looked at the beginning of the year diagnostic assessments from that. And they really lined up quite nicely with what we saw in MCAS. So we had a few areas of weaknesses that we're going to work on. In ELA, determining a theme in a piece of literature or key ideas, and determining the meaning of words and phrases. So what we've done to help mitigate is we've hired reading tutors, we've given the teachers more collaboration time. Like I said, we purchased the STAR diagnostic. We also purchased Freckle, that is a second piece to STAR. So if you think of the STAR diagnostic as a pretest, Freckle will differentiate lessons for the students based on how they've done on the STAR. STAR also has progress monitoring that we're working on too. And we've done a lot of professional development. In math, understanding and using place value, so addition, subtraction, multiplication, and just knowing how numbers work, and fractions. Couple areas in geometry. So again, in math, we've hired math tutors, increased collaboration time, purchased STAR for math as well, Freckle as well. We've offered professional development. I forgot to mention when I talked about professional development, the middle school teachers had data meetings in ELA and math to look at their STAR data, and they're becoming quite adept at looking at the data and regrouping the kids to see where we can shore up some extra supports for them. Anything else principals want to add? No? Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Outside the classroom to work together on the data and analyze, where the areas of weakness are.
So hopefully we'll see results. We've already seen some impressive results from the one of the progress monitorings that we've done, so hopefully that trend continues. And that's it.
Credit to everyone involved. I think, obviously it's a tough year, but that's not an excuse. We still want to work to make sure we're educating the kids and providing them as much help as possible. So thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Yanis.
Mrs. Marble, our TFM review.
All right, so we had our tiered focus monitoring review. This was our on-site visit this year. The tiered focus monitoring, for those of you that might know, is our new CPR review. The tiered focus monitoring this year and in the coming years, they come and they check our files, they observe our staff. I'm getting ahead of myself. Can I start over? Let me just sit down. Sorry, it's the PowerPoint. Hold on. So the purpose, let me start with the purpose, that'll help me, is to identify the districts with the greatest needs, and then to identify the root cause and to help districts develop protocols and processes for the student outcomes. That's pretty much what the tiered focus monitoring is. Sorry. Thank you, Maureen. So we're grouped into two sections. There's a Group A and there's a Group B. It's a 3-year cycle. They come every 3 years. We were Group A this year. So they looked at the student identification, IEP development and support services, and equal opportunity. We'll have Group B next time we go around. You can go on. Thank you. So I tried to set it up so that you can see it's actually a 6-year process. The first time that you go, you do a self-assessment. West Bridgewater did their self-assessment in 2019-2020. I actually worked with Jean on that. That was when I was doing my practicum under Corey, so it was really good for me to see how that went. We selected files based on student needs, disability, ages, and then we had to review them. The department asked for specific protocols that we had to upload into a portal. So that was 2019, 2020, and then we were supposed to have our on-site visit last year, but they asked if we'd push it off a year because the high school had NEASC. So we had our on-site visit this year. And then we had our on-site visit, and then the next year would be our continuous monitoring. We can skip that one. All right, so during our self-assessment, like I said, we took a sample of student records based on the data that the department had given us, and we uploaded protocols. They wanted examples of like our team meeting notices, our N1s, just paperwork that special ed has to offer. Thank you, sorry. The on-site visit was November 16th and 17th of this past year. The on-site visit included interviews with staff, interview with West Bridgewater's CPAC chair, Melissa Winchell, additional interviews that were requested by parents in the district, virtual meetings with parents along with a survey that the parents got regarding their experiences with the district's implementation of our services and our educational programs, related services and procedural requirements. They also reviewed student records. They asked for a list of all of our students on our special ed data list. So they chose about 14 folders to go through, 2 of which were the ones that we did our self-assessment on, and the others were outside of that. They also observed classrooms over at the Roselle McDonald School, and they did an exit interview with Mark and I. The final report came on December 7th, and the ratings are commendable, implemented, implementation in progress, partially implemented, not implemented, or not applicable. So the department received implemented in all the areas of special ed and civil rights. I have them listed up there, and there's a link there that you can see which each one is for. There was no findings, which is really good to hear, because when you get a finding, you need to do a report and correction, and it goes on from there. So we were really happy to hear that what they saw they liked. They felt that the department, they commented on the folders and how organized they were. I have to give kudos to Jean. She stood by me the entire time, and she absolutely deserves a lot of credit here. So that's that, sorry. So next steps for our 2022-23 school year. So for the rest of this year, we're good. We've had it, and then we have our continuous monitoring next year. We'll do another self-assessment, but we'll start with the Part B, which they look at a whole different set of standards. That's when they'll be in the schools more often. They'll look at all of our special ed classrooms. They'll interview more staff members. They'll look at our professional development. They'll look at our staff training. They get a little more in depth in that one, but that's in 3 years. We'll have our self-assessment and then that. And then we'll move on from there. Shout out to the staff. Again, Jean Carsis, number 1. As you know, in a small district, is the director and the teachers, there's no in-betweens. So the teachers getting all that paperwork in, going on the timelines, it's a difficult thing to do, especially during COVID. Asked a lot of questions, and you have to make sure that you're taking a lot of data and you're noting everything down. So kudos to all of the teachers. Could not have done that without them. And that's it. Any questions?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You, Mrs. Carsos, and your staff for doing an outstanding job. It was a pleasure speaking with the representatives from DESE and getting their input and their feedback, but it was very clear that very early in your tenure working here doing that position, you did an outstanding job, so thank you very much.
I'll get better at presenting. Thank you.
And finally, international travel. We have not done international trips in a while for obvious reasons, but we have had very successful international trips in the past. Mrs. Pistorino is very interested in continuing a working relationship with a member of the school committee or members to go kind of firm up forms and procedures and policies so in the future we can once again run international trips. She's dedicated, hardworking, and in the past worked with Mrs. Sullivan. So we're just looking for someone who may want to, spend some time going over some information with Ms. Pistorino to get those international trips up and ready to run in the future. And again, when I say future, we're talking maybe next spring at the earliest. But I think it's a great opportunity while we have her to get everything in order, so it's already kind of pre-approved or reviewed by the school committee before these come to you for a final vote of a yes or no being an international out-of-state trip. So looking for a volunteer, if anyone is willing to.
I don't know if this was something Donna was interested in or not, so I don't know if anyone here
So I was
has.
just gonna say, I'm happy to do it, but it also seems like it's right up Donna's alley, because I know she is really involved in policy and procedure, so I'm happy to do it if she's not
Okay.
interested, so.
Perfect.
Thank you,
That's
Mrs.
all.
Radke.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bodwell. Up next, we have our student representative update. Hallie?
Hi. For the Spring Street School, before the holiday break, kindergarten students enjoyed dressing in their pajamas and walking over to the middle senior high school for Mr. Bodwell's reading of the Polar Express. It was truly a magical experience and had fun by all. They were treated with hot chocolate in the classrooms when they returned. Preschool students were treated with a special reading of Dream Snow, also by Mr. Bodwell, and received a special snowflake to remember the story. Thank you to all our parent volunteers and donations that made our holiday classroom activities possible. For the Roselle McDonald, we had a record number of 47 second and third grade students that applied to represent their respective classrooms on student council. Our young Wildcats showed great enthusiasm and care in completing their application. Each application was thoroughly written and making it quite hard to narrow down the submissions for the limited number of seats available on the council. We had 24 students awarded the seat on our student council. This year, they had set goals for continue working with the Soup Man by decorating lunch bags for his food program, presenting him with blankets and letters to distribute to those in need. Council members are also aiming to find paper recycling companies that will work with the school, organize a collection for a food pantry, work with the PD and FD on any of their fundraisers like Toys for Tots, and assist Ms. Collette as needed with the Pride program. Before our holiday break, the staff at Roselle McDonald had a lot of fun decorating their classroom doors with the gingerbread theme. Thank you to Mr. Bodwell and Miss Marble who helped come over and choose those best doors. The winners were Miss Esberry and Mrs. Messia. Students also judged teachers' gingerbread houses, and congratulations to Mrs. Poliafco for receiving the most votes. For Howard School, prior to break, students celebrated school spirit by competing in a door decorating and ugly sweater contest. Prior to break, the school had our first monthly Pride raffles and had 9 student winners and 3 teacher winners. Prior to break, Student Council and the Little Leo's Club also had a successful coat drive and clothes drive. Donations were made by local agencies. For the month of January, the school Pride theme is Determination. There will be an assembly at the end of the month with student work on display. Officer Pope will be joining the Howard cafeteria staff this month and will serve lunch to the Howard students. For the middle senior high school, prior to the break, students had an amazing breakfast put on cafeteria staff featuring Belgian waffles, bacon, fruit, and French toast. A hard-fought volleyball tournament was put on December 23rd. Staff and students had a great job playing and cheering for their classmates and teachers on. A successful hat and mittens drive was completed. Donations will be made this week to local families in need. Staff and students had fun decorating their doors prior to break. We are happy to have our ski club back up and running this year. The snow, which is ironic, canceled the first trip, but staff and students will be hitting the slopes this Friday. That's all.
To Officer Pope, who served lunch at the Roselle McDonald. He made or helped make Sloppy Joes a favorite, and I think the day before they sampled
They
them.
sampled the day before with Sloppy Joe's, tater tots, and chocolate pudding.
It was good. I actually sampled myself.
Very good.
And I don't know what he's going to make at the Howard School, but he had a good time, and the kids appreciated seeing him. So huge thank you to Officer Pope.
All right, thank you. Again, thank you very much, Hallie, sorry. On to our business, the 2022-2023 school choice. This is not a voting issue. We are just going to keep open what we have. If we were voting, it would be to vote to change school choice that we would not have it, so we're just leaving it alone. We're going to keep school choice as is, so we're not going to make any changes there. Inclusion Matters update, Mrs. Dragonetti.
Thank you. The mission of Inclusion Matters as West Bridgewater's Special Education Parent Advisory Council is to build inclusive schools and communities. We do this by supporting families of students with IEPs and 504s and including regular education parents by offering advice, advocacy within the school system, and opportunities for education and community building through regular workshops and events for parents, guardians, and families. We are so excited to be able to help West Bridgewater families advocate for their children through this month's event. Again this year, Inclusion Matters will be offering free one-on-one sessions with special education consultants. These consultants are special education advocates, professors of special education, and/or special educators from outside the West Bridgewater School District. Sessions will be held via Zoom on the evenings of January 12th and 13th. At this time, registration is closed as sessions are now full. We look forward to being able to offer this event to families again in the future. Please join us for February's Parent Workshop, Nothing About Us Without Us, Designing On-Ramps for Our Kids' Inclusion in IEP Meetings. Sharing from her own experiences, including her child in her own team meetings, Chair of Inclusion Matters, Dr. Melissa Winchell, will make a brief presentation on why and how to include our kids in their IEP meetings, even before they turn 14 and are formally invited by the school district. Following her presentation, a panel of Massachusetts parents will share the creative ways they've engaged their children with disabilities in their own IEP meetings. Come to learn how your child, no matter how young, can find their place on an IEP team. This event will be held on Thursday, February 10th at 7:00 p.m. via Zoom. In the words of Liz Fosseline, diversity is having a seat at the table, inclusion is having a voice, belonging is having that voice be heard. For more information about Inclusion Matters and upcoming events, you can find us on Facebook at Inclusion Matters MA or by visiting our website at www.inclusionmattersma.com.
Thank you, Mrs. Dragonetti. Warrant Subcommittee Report, Mrs. Dragonetti.
The following warrants were issued and paid for the fiscal year 2022. Bill warrants on December 9th, 2021 for $91,272.16. December 16th, 2021 for $243,838.76. December 23rd, 2021 for $143,844.68. And December 30th, 2021 for $53,059.40. The following two payroll warrants were issued. December 10th, 2021 for $571,218.05 and December 24th, 2021 for $533,068.27. As always, all warrants are public record and once signed are available in the Selectman's office for review.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Public comment, members of the audience wishing to address the committee may do so at this time. All audience members are reminded that personnel issues or issues that would violate student or employee confidentiality cannot be addressed during the public comment. Seeing none, we'll move on to our announcements. District meetings, school council meetings, Spring Street School, February 2nd at 3 p.m. is virtual. Roselle McDonald School, February 1st at 3:30 p.m. virtual. Howard School, January 20th at 2:45 p.m. in the Howard Conference Room. Middle Senior High School, there's nothing?
It's a day of the school committee.
Oh, February 7th, 2:30 in the guidance office?
Yes.
Okay. PTO, January 25th at 7 p.m. at Barrett's Ale House. Superintendent Coffee Hour, January 21st at 9:15 a.m. It's virtual. Inclusion Matters, January 12th and 13th at 6 to 8 p.m. Virtual consultations with an IEP expert and a 504 expert. Athletic Boosters Meeting, January 12th, 7 p.m. in the Learning Commons. At the Middle Senior High School, January 14th, we have the Principal's Coffee Hour. January 27th is the tentative date for the winter concert in the auditorium at 5:30. January 28th, we'll have report cards distributed electronically. At the Howard School, January 28th, report cards will be distributed electronically. Roselle McDonald School, January 14th, Grade 2 Read for Life Pizza Party, PTO sponsored, and January 28th, report cards distributed electronically. And the Spring Street School, February 18th, report cards distributed electronically. The next regular scheduled school committee meeting will be Monday, February 7th at 6:30 PM here in the high school learning commons.
Mr. Flynn, can I interrupt? I'm sorry for 1 second. I'm not sure if we just missed, if we had to open the public hearing for school choice and then ask if there's any comments,
Okay,
just prior to closing.
okay, yeah, because we should have done that at the beginning.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's move back here. So why don't we, how are we going to do this now? Because we've already opened the regular meeting. Why don't we just close this meeting and we'll open for the public, for the school choice, we reopen, okay?
Perfect.
So our next regular school committee meeting will be Monday, February 7th, 2022, 6:30 PM here in the high school learning commons. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Would like to call the hearing a school committee meeting of school choice on Monday, January 10th, 2022, 6:30 PM in the middle school learning commons. This meeting is to discuss our school choice. Do we have anyone that would like to discuss school choice? No? Okay. I'd like to close the public hearing on the school choice. We have a motion to close.
Moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.